Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in.
Nick,
Brother.
how difficult was it to come up with this mock draft? More difficult than passing the bar?
Oh God, I think so. It's a tough year.
Tough long year for you. What's going on, everybody? Just your opinion, man. Alon Desai's off tonight. I got my little brother Nicholas Papa joining us tonight as we're going to do a mock draft. He joined us last year, and we did a mock draft together. I forgot that I actually did a mock draft with him. So I guess we'll go pick by pick with both of our picks, but that may take way too long, so we'll see how long we go. But Nicholas, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. You study this draft a little bit more than me, and this is when I usually do my draft bone-in. This is my bone-in time of year where I get up on watching all the prospects. And, I think this draft class is interesting, but I don't think it's the best talent. I think next year was when we see maybe more guys that will break through the NFL, like Arch Manning. And you're not a fan of him, and we'll get to that maybe a little bit later. But I think this draft class is okay. There are definitely spots, position groups that have a lot of depth, whether it's wide receiver or offensive line or pass rusher, but not great when it comes to the quarterbacks, not great when it comes to the tight ends, but there's still some talent here.
Would you say this draft is not as good as last year's was? Because we had the same talk about last year.
We did, yeah.
The expectation was that this year would be a much stronger draft. I know the quarterbacks didn't come out this year, but I would say, relatively speaking, I think the top end talent in this draft is better than it was last year.
Yeah, I mean, there's generational guys like Arvell Reese. I really like Cardinal Tate, but I know you're not a fan of him. We'll get to that a little later. But yeah, last year we did talk about this draft class being a whole hell of a lot better because we thought that maybe Arch was going to go out and Dante Moore. It was going to be more quarterback heavy, but really all we're getting is Fernando Mendoza and maybe Ty Simpson at the end. There's guys like Jeremiah Love, who might be the greatest running back prospect of all time. That might be a little hyperbolic, but he's unbelievable. But yeah, I think that I've talked to a lot of guys. I talked to Larry Krueger last time. I think a lot of people that are evaluating talent think that this draft is okay, but next year should be that much better.
I haven't looked at next year's draft, so I can't speak on that. I think this draft, comparatively speaking, is better than last year's was. I think the top end talent is much better. I think it falls off after around picks 15. The guys aren't clearly as good. But yeah, I think there's a lot of really great players in this draft.
Okay. So let's start off. Before we get to the mock draft, I want to get your thoughts on some NFL news because a lot happened today. So let's start off with Trent Williams getting.
I didn't know that anything happened today.
You didn't see any of the news?
No, I did not. This is all new to me.
You're too busy with lawyer work, so I can understand you're doing more important things. But Trent Williams did sign his contract.
I saw that, yeah.
He signed 2 years, $50 million, and now he's tied to the 49ers until 2028. So what do you think about this? They needed to get him on the offensive line. Obviously, they have no offensive line if Trent Williams is not there. And there was questions about maybe they're going to plan for the future and get the left tackle that would replace Trent Williams, whether that's Caleb Lomu or Maxi Honachor. Those are guys that have been linked in recent mock drafts with the 49ers. But now you got Trent Williams, going to be 38 years old, gets injured, but still one of the better offensive tackles in all of football. So what do you think about this deal, Nicholas?
Did anyone really expect that this wasn't going to happen? I mean, I know they were talking briefly about trading him, but was that ever a realistic possibility? He's what, 30? He's a 37-year-old man. I mean, did he really want to go?
He's going to be 38 this year, yeah.
On a new team at this stage of his career. He has a long working relationship with the 49ers. I'm sure he'd really enjoys Kyle Shanahan and playing in that scheme that he didn't want to leave at this stage of his career. So I'm not surprised. Is he still the same player, though? You could tell me better than I can answer that. But is he still the dominant, one of the best left tackles in football at this, the stage of his career?
I would think so. I think that, yeah, he's still that guy. He's not the guy that Washington drafted, God, years ago, or the guy that the 49ers got initially in, was it 2020 to replace Joe Staley? But he's still one of the better offensive linemen in all of football. Right now, his AAV, I think, is it's going to be $25 million a year, so that's good for sixth in football. Yeah, he deserves that. I'm surprised he didn't get a deal that's on the same level as Laramie Tunsil, but then again, he's only here for 2 more years, and Laramie Tunsil has a 2-year, $60 million deal. So I think that Trent is still integral to their success with the 49ers on their offensive line, but he shouldn't be here, for the long haul. He's probably going to retire in a year or two. So I understand why every year they get kind of frustrated with him because he wants to redo his deal, and he deserves that. But at the same time, it just gets, annoying where, yes, he plays at a high level, but did he play great against the Seattle Seahawks? No, that was not the case, because that whole defensive line was beating up on the 49ers. So that's a bad example. But, yeah, I still think he's that guy. It's just a matter of the Niners finding that succession plan. The next got to take over for him. And I don't know if they need to do that this draft, but that needs to be a priority coming up here.
So his contract is $37 million in guaranteed money, $22 million signing bonus. I don't know the way that it's structured. Maybe you could tell me, but do you think he realistically plays 2 more years for the 49ers, or do you think this potentially could be his last season?
I think that, yeah, this especially could be his last season, and that doesn't matter as far as the contract.
Hanachor from Arizona State or Caleb Lomu from Utah, do you think that maybe he plays 1 more year, those guys sit behind him, and then next year replace him?
We talk about that all day on KNBR, and I think that there's an argument to be had where you should draft for that in the future. But then again, like, what are they going to do that first year? There's only like a handful of examples like that. Like, who's the guy from the Jets? Olu Fashanu, that was drafted by the Jets a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what's up?
From Penn State.
From Penn State. And I don't even know if I think the intention was for him to play guard that first year, and the first couple of weeks he didn't. It was where Morgan Moses got hurt, and then he filled in a right tackle, then eventually took over for Tyron Smith. So you could do that with the 49ers, but the 49ers have so many needs as far as wide receiver or pass rush, or they just need a guard or defensive back, but they got plenty right now, so maybe that'd just be a depth piece.
It seems like there's a lot of guys in this draft that played tackle in college football, but people are saying might be better in the NFL as a guard. I think the 49ers could be in the mix for some of those players that potentially you could play them at left guard next to Trent Williams, and then a coming year's time, move them over to left tackle.
That's what I've been saying, where I think that Caleb Lomu or Maxi Hanachor could be those guys, but you could also just go get a true guard. And who's the guy from Texas A&M? Chase Bissanis, or who's the other dude? Rutledge.
Tech.
And then the guy from Oregon, what's his name? Pernum or Pregnon?
Emmanuel Pregnon, yeah.
Yeah. I think that the Niners could do that. They also could just trade out of the pick altogether and draft at 34. But, but potentially with the Arizona Cardinals, there's been a rumor out there where they could trade up into the first round and get Ty Simpson. But I don't think that signing Trent Williams today precludes them from taking a tackle, but it's not like a need at this point. Like, yes, they need to get that eventually, but they could just draft a guard. They could be boring in the first round, and that's something they desperately need because they don't have a starting left guard right now. They need more pass rush. Their defense was a problem a year ago. They could get more, explosiveness with another wide receiver. I don't know if Christian Kirk's enough as far as your slot guy, but they could do that. I don't think the Niners are going to do that because Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch usually draft based on need than more of the long-term answer at left tackle.
Well, if you remember from last year, the 49ers were picking at number 11, and I had them mock Josh Simmons, who ended up going to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, you liked him a lot.
Rookie season, yeah. He was my favorite tackle, probably after Membu, actually. So I could see them doing something similar. I think that the logic remains the same, that you could get Trent Williams' successor at this moment, don't have to play him immediately at tackle, and then when Trent moves on, I think this is probably his last season, then take the reins at left tackle.
No, I hear you. We've got some people in the chat, and look at me acknowledging the chat. We got Tacky69 says, I try to be overly nice to Nick because he's going to represent me for free if needed. How much do you charge these days, Nick, for your representation for legal fees?
Too much for Tacky.
Yeah, Tacky definitely cannot afford you. And then we got Pat H in the chat. He was at the draft party last year. Last time I saw Nick was at last year's draft party. That was right. We were going to be there again at Jack's Restaurant and Bar in San Jose. Yes, it's going to be fantastic. We're going to have all of the filth and all of the KNBR members coming out to watch me, Adam Copeland. You keep interrupting me. What?
Great mac and cheese.
Yes, they have great mac and cheese. They have great
that's a
great steak sandwich, a great gyro. Do you know they named a menu item after us now, Nick? For me and Cope Show, Dirty Work.
At Jack's, they do. What is it called?
Yes, we got the Dirty Work burrito now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's not on the menu. You have to ask for it, but yeah, it's there. I have no idea what's in it, but I've
never had it.
No, we were sampling burritos months ago, and that's the one that we decided on. I think there's obviously some. It's more of a breakfast burrito, I think, where there's eggs and something. I don't know. It's a long time ago, but I finally arrived, Nick, where I have a menu item.
Exciting stuff. You should eat it on stage in front of everybody.
Oh, I will. But yeah, we're going to be there for the draft show, so can't wait for that. And yeah, we'll see what happens in this draft. Of course, we assume that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first overall pick taken with the Raiders, and Kirk Cousins pretty much admitted that a couple weeks ago. So we'll see what happens when the draft gets going at number 2, because I still think there's a question mark of, will it be David Bailey or will it be Arvell Reese? But before we get to that, Nick, there's also some other news today, and not anything really surprising. Oh, I think Pat actually has the details of the burrito. It's chicken fried steak and a breakfast burrito. Well, there you go.
Ew.
Don't knock it until you try it.
That does sound diarrhea-inducing, Tacky.
Well, you do know about diarrhea.
Sadly.
Yes, he does. Okay, let's talk about some news that happened today. It's nothing really surprising. Adam Schefter says that most likely A.J. Brown will be traded to the New England Patriots post June 1st. And my question is, for giving Diana Rossini all these problems with Mike Vrabel, what did Adam Schefter do to curl the toes of Howie Roseman to get this information?
Does everyone in the world not know that A.J. Brown is going to be traded after the start of the new league year? What's the date of significance? I know it's financial.
June 1st. I don't know why. I mean, you probably know this as a lawyer, Nick. Why in the NFL they have these stipulations and contracts where post June 1st, I don't know why it's June 1st, but that's where you could spread out the dead cap hit. So when you trade a player off your roster, say again?
Allocation of money for signing bonuses and things like that.
Exactly. And I don't know why it has to be June 1st. You could easily do this May 1st, right? It's closer to the draft, but it is what it is when it comes to June 1st. That's why Brandon Ayuk hasn't been released yet, because they're holding out hope that he could be traded. And if you're going to trade him, it's best to do it post June 1st, but probably that's not going to happen at this point. So yeah, Adam Schefter said what we all were anticipating. It's been a rumor for quite some time. If you follow my guy Ricky Scoops on Twitter, he had this months ago. A.J. Brown will be traded from the Philadelphia Eagles to the New England Patriots, and that would help them significantly because right now their receiving core, yes, they improved with Romeo Doubs, but last year during the Super Bowl, it was evident that they were lacking when it came to true playmakers. They had Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, Kayshon Boutte, but they can upgrade there with A.J. Brown, and it's pretty clear that A.J. Brown's over Jalen Hurts. That scathing article from Jeremy Fowler where some people in the building don't like him as far as being a hard worker and not wanting to develop more with the offense. And even I think Jalen Hurts.
Interesting, really.
Yeah. Jeremy Fowler put out an article a couple of weeks ago saying that he's been hesitant to have it be.
You're talking about A.J. Brown.
Jalen Hurts has been hesitant to have the offense.
I've heard that as well. Yeah, that he's unwilling to modify the offensive scheme, that he doesn't want to incorporate anything new into the playbook, that, the other players on the team are frustrated with him at this point.
Yeah, no, I got you. So yeah, I that's not surprising. I think Jalen Hurts even posted like a photo or whatever, like something on social media today with him working out. So that's all you need to know. Where he's just trying to move on from AJ Brown at this point. Are you surprised by this in any way? Like it's not surprising news. It's just that we got to wait a whole 2 months for this trade to actually come to fruition. And there were some rumors earlier where the Rams were involved, maybe the Denver Broncos were involved, but of course they pivoted to Jalen Waddle. I just think that this is a missed opportunity with the Eagles where they could have kept going with A.J. Brown. He was really good that first year in 2022. And yes, there is a problem with Jalen Hurts who he hasn't developed as a quarterback, but now they're going to get off of him. They're going to have Dontavius Wicks and who else to pick up this year? Hollywood Brown. Yeah, I think that the Eagles might actually slide without A.J. Brown on their roster. And I would love to see what the compensation is going to be because Jalen Waddle, I think, went for a first, a third, and a fifth or something like that, or maybe a fourth involved in there. I wonder what A.J. Brown would go for. I'm assuming it's going to be a 2027 first, which would mean a lot considering what we were talking about earlier with that draft class, and maybe a third-round pick after that. But, yeah, just a weird situation where we got to wait a whole month and then some to see this trade actually come to fruition.
Yeah, I don't think it's surprising at all. It seemed like the relationship between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts was beyond repair. From New England's perspective, I think this is just a no-brainer. He's one of the rare talents in football where you can just line him up outside at X receiver and he can beat any corner in the league in man-to-man coverage. He changes the way that defenses have to play with his ability to stretch the field and his size. So he's one of the best receivers in football still, even though I think, obviously he had a down year last year. In terms of the compensation, Sims floated something. I love Sims. They have the 23rd pick.
You love your Chris Sims with his mouth full of spit, I tell you.
I do. The Philadelphia Eagles have the 23rd pick in the draft this year. Do you think there is a possibility that Philadelphia could draft a player with the intention of trading them to New England after the new year starts? Ooh. With the understanding that they'll tell them, hey, we're drafting you. You're going to be a Patriot come June 2nd.
Ooh. We're doing like an NBA trade?
This is just a placeholder. I think it's a really smart deal. I don't know if anything's ever been done like that. But if I were Philly, Philly, that's what I would want to do.
That's risky as fuck. I would not be willing to.
New England did that, yes.
Yeah, because then what if the trade falls through? Like, yes, I know this is all predicated on the fact that you're going to do this deal with, the Eagles and the Patriots. Deals fall through all the time. I wouldn't feel comfortable drafting a player with the intention of them trading him to New England after the fact. No, I would not do that. I think that they just need to operate in good faith, and everything that's going to be a part of this trade has to happen post the 2026 draft.
And trading him after. So New England has the 31st pick in the draft. They'd be trading him to.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Philadelphia. That was what I meant to say.
No.
Who's New England's general manager?
Elliot Wolf.
So, I mean, if him and Howie Roseman have a good working relationship, they trust each other. I mean, I don't know why that wouldn't be something that would at least be considered, floated around.
What kind of toy is Max gnawing at right now?
It's a little elephant.
That's Nick's dog, Max. He named him after the dog in the Grinch, and yes, we can hear him. But that's fine. We love Max. No, you're fine. You're fine. This is not really a well put together production here. And what's up, Otis Bird? Otis Bird's in the chat as well. Hey, Derek. Hey, Nick. What's going on, Otis? Yeah, dude. I don't like that idea at all because I just don't think that you can operate. Yes, you need to, basically they need to handle this draft with the idea that A.J. Brown's not going to be there. So the New England Patriots need to think that, okay, we don't need a wide receiver in the first round because we're getting one in A.J. Brown. The Eagles probably need to draft a wide receiver in the first round if one's worth taking, or maybe they do the same thing that we're talking about with the 49ers where, they could draft a offensive tackle for the future, like a Caden Proctor to replace Elaine Johnson in time.
Yeah, I could see that as well. That's actually why I have mocked going to them. I just think if you're the Eagles, you're in a Super Bowl.
Don't give it away.
A little bit of a spoiler. I think that you're in a Super Bowl window, and I don't know if I'd be comfortable trading him and not getting any compensation back for another year when your team is going to be another year older. Lane Johnson, Landon Dickinson, I feel like they're older types of players. They might be reaching the end of this window that they have where they have a really dominant roster and they have to start making some financial decisions in terms of moving guys on. So I think it's a smart idea, but I understand your hesitancy.
Yeah, I just want to do that. So I think they need to go forward with the idea that they're getting A.J. Brown, the New England Patriots, and the Eagles need to go forward with not having him. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how that plays out. But that's just kind of fascinating where I wonder what happens with A.J. Brown. He'll probably just stay silent, and he has been for quite some time. I think he did that interview with Julian Edelman on the Games with Names podcast, or Dudes with Dudes, whatever the hell that's called, with Gronk, where he kind of winked at the idea of joining the Patriots. He's kind of alluded to it all offseason. So, yeah, it's just kind of weird where it's kind of like the Aaron Rodgers situation where we knew he was going to the Jets. We just had to wait, and the deadline was the draft, and now we got to wait with A.J. Brown. So that's going to be very weird. And the dead cap hit with the Eagles would be like $43 million. You know that the Niners took on a bigger dead cap hit with a deadline they missed with Trent Williams, with giving him a $10 million roster bonus. I think they took on $46 million in dead cap, but they didn't give a shit. They got the deal done in the end.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. One piece of information that actually I didn't discuss last podcast with my co-host Alon. Will Anderson Jr. got paid, and he gets the biggest contract for a non-quarterback in football right now in history. 3 years, $150 million, $134 guaranteed. Now this gives him $50 million annually, and now we're getting to the point now where defensive players, pass rushers, are making quarterback money. And I think Will Anderson Jr. is a hell of a player. Do I think he's better than Micah Parsons? No, but I think he's a very, very good player. So this is just going to happen. This is the market now where you have your premier pass rushers making $50 million a year, and it will only go up. And that's going to change the quarterback market as well when guys like Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams, and even C.J. Stroud are eligible for contracts. So I do think the fact that Danielle Hunter got paid just a 1-year extension for $40 million, his bookend, Will Anderson Jr. makes $50 million a year, and now that will definitely impact what C.J. Stroud makes. So are you with me, Nick, where this is going to impact the quarterback market, and we could see quarterbacks in the next couple of years here make $65 to $70 million a year?
Oh, wow. I mean, I think this is more just a reflection of the growing salary cap in the NFL and just the popularity of the league that it's skyrocketing. And, pass rushers are the second most important position in football. I think it's interesting in terms of, we're going to talk about the draft. A lot of these players that are pass rushers and tackles, while they might not be better than counterparts in other positions, I think because of the expense associated with the position in free agency, that you're going to see a lot of these players that are pass rushers and tackles being drafted over players in other positions that might be better, because the positional value is just, it makes more sense to build through the draft. And then you can get a running back like Travis Etienne, or who else was a free agent this year for, Kenneth Walker for $10 to $15 million.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you'll probably see the effect the most, I guess, is the disparity in how teams target positions in the NFL draft.
Well, let's talk about this draft, man. Let's get things started with the 2026 Papa Brothers mock draft. And I'll let you go first, sir. We're all in suspense. Who are the Raiders taking first overall?
Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana. Yeah, it's a shocker there.
A big-time shocker. So what's your deal with Fernando Mendoza? Because you and I have texted about him, and I think it's a mix where he does have a skill set that is intriguing. Is it first overall worthy? No. He's got I think he's got the attributes, but at the same time, it's really because he had the best season of any quarterback last year. And it's arguably up there with Joe Burrow. He's not the same prospect that Joe Burrow was, but the fact he won the Heisman and he won multiple playoff games to get to the national championship and won the damn thing, I think that's why he's going first overall. And it will be a learning process for him at the next level. I think it helps to have a quarterback-friendly offense like a Kyle Shanahan offense with Clint Kubiak. But if this was any other draft where like a top guy like Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence, like a generational talent, he would not be the first quarterback taken. I think it's kind of similar to last year when Cam Ward went first overall.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I really liked Cam Ward. I thought he was in the caliber of those Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels types of players. I think he's very different. Cam Ward was more of that modern NFL type of quarterback where he's very good in system, but also out of system, making off-platform throws. That's not really Fernando Mendoza's game. He's more the prototypical pocket passing quarterback. What is he, 6'4", 235. He's incredibly accurate inside the pocket. He never really misses open throws. I think that's why he's kind of conducive to this Kubiak, Shanahan-esque type of scheme. But the concerns I have is I don't know how strong his arm really is. I don't think it's anywhere in the same ballpark as Cam Ward. And then I know everyone's saying that he's kind of cerebral and he totally fits this type of offensive scheme, but what they ran at Indiana was absolutely nothing like this. It was almost exclusively RPOs where it was basically a one read type of offense. A lot of it was just out routes after out routes. Never really would throw over the middle of the field almost at all unless they were in the red zone. So I think that's concerning, but he is incredibly accurate. I mean, I think he's clearly the best quarterback in this draft. Do I like him as much as Cam Ward? No, but do I think that he's in the same ballpark and worthy of being the number one overall pick? Yeah, I would probably say so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot to be desired with some of his physical, I guess limitations. I think that
that's one of his biggest skills is his ability to run.
Yeah, but I don't know if that speed's going to translate. Like that play he made on 4th and goal where he scored the touchdown against Miami. I think NFL defensive linemen probably catch him there.
Yeah.
I think that the arm talent, he could still throw down the field, but they say the same thing about Andrew Luck.
Like a walk-in touchdown. Did you ever see that once in Indiana where someone caught the ball in stride and then went and scored? Sometimes in the red zone, he would throw balls like deep over routes to Omar Cooper Jr. and they would be kind of contested catches. But I never really saw him throw. They ran a lot of like those type of go fades. My dog was chewing on me. And never once did I see Elijah Surratt catch the ball in stride and go all the way for a touchdown.
I saw Omar Cooper Jr. break away because he's so good at yards after the catch, but no, I never saw where Fernando Mendoza threw a 50-yard bomb. Now he had a great throw to who's it, Charlie Becker on the 3rd down play to basically, I want to say, ice the game against Ohio State in that Big Ten championship. But no,
he made some really big time throws against Iowa when they had to come back against Penn State.
The Penn State game was the best. Yeah.
A lot of times when they got down into 2-minute drills, I thought they really opened up their offense and let them kind of run more of an NFL type of scheme where it's more progression based and a lot of more in-breaking routes, like skinny posts and things like that. But I think it's a concern. Not a huge concern. And I think that the learning curve to acclimate to the NFL, especially in this type of scheme where it's a lot of crossing routes over the middle of the field, and you have to make a lot of layered throws that he didn't really have to make ever in Indiana. I think that's just going to be difficult. And that's why I think at first I really wasn't against it. And we were talking about this and I thought, how could you draft someone at 1st overall and not start them immediately? But I do think bringing in Kirk Cousins was a really smart move. And I think it will give Mendoza time to learn how to make these different throws in this entirely new offense.
I've told you this. I was more impressed with his tape from Cal because that was more of an air raid and not an RPO system where he dropped back and threw deep. I never saw like any problems with his arm there. I just think that, I do think the best thing for him is to sit back and watch Kirk Cousins, and they're basically the same human being. They're both kind of nerdy, and he'd probably go live with him in Henderson. But I think like Clint Kubiak's offense is so quarterback friendly where I think Fernando Mendoza, he's not going to have the same talent as a Sam Darnold, but he could do similar things. So it's not where you need the fastest, strongest quarterback, the strongest arm. I think that one thing I do like about him, he is like Brock Purdy, where he's so decisive with the football. He knows where he's going.
He gets the ball really fast.
If it's not there, he's going to run. So I think that's going to only make him better. I think Kirk Cousins being by his side is going to help him immensely. Now, do you think there's a huge drop off from Mendoza to Ty Simpson?
I really don't. And I was talking about that with you over text. I think that I watch Ty Simpson in the Alabama offense, and they ask him to make a lot of throws, which are NFL type of throws, where they're deep crosses, daggers, sails, layered type of throws. They never ask Mendoza to do that. And so I watch Ty Simpson, and there's a lot of wow plays where I'm like, oh my God, that blows out any throw that Mendoza makes. The problem is that Mendoza never has a play where you go, oh my God, like how did he possibly miss that throw? Ty Simpson has a ton of throws like that, where
Right.
I think that is the concern. Like against Florida State, he just looked overawed and just missing wide open throws or throwing the ball in places where it was just so dangerous that I do think he needs time to learn before he's a starter in the NFL. But I think he has real NFL starting qualities. I think he does remind me almost a lot of Brock Purdy. And I would not be the least bit surprised if I saw a team trade up late in the first round, like the Arizona Cardinals, to draft Ty Simpson.
Yeah, he's been linked to them the most, and I think that the biggest indictment of him is his frame. He's very skinny. I think he's like a $188, so he needs to get a little fatter, Ty Simpson.
Yeah,
but yeah, what's up?
What's Brock?
Brock he's not the skinniest dude. He's got some size to him.
I'll look this up.
Not chunky by any means, but I think Ty Simpson. I think that's what people look at.
Okay.
Yeah. Brock added some muscle a couple years ago.
Ty Simpson also get like bursitis or something towards the end of the year. He got sick towards the end of the season, and I think it kind of reflected the course of his play and Alabama's play, where I want to say he got sick and lost a lot of weight.
Well, he might have Jacoby bursitis if he joins the Cardinals.
He had gastritis.
Either way. And yeah, Jacoby Brissett now wants like a new deal and everything, so that may impact him with the Arizona Cardinals, where it sounds like Ty Simpson could be going there. Yeah, I'm with you, Nick, where people killed Dan Orlovsky over his evaluation where he thought Ty Simpson was quarterback one. I don't agree with him, but at the same time, yes, there were some things about Ty Simpson that I was impressed with, and he does make more NFL throws. Would he benefit from, waiting a year and learning from a starting quarterback? Like, would he be great going to the Rams? Absolutely. Or the Steelers, waiting for Aaron Rodgers? Yes.
The Rams at 13, kind of their version of Brock Purdy. I think he would make a lot of sense with Arizona and what Mike LaFleur wants to do. He's coming from San Francisco. I think that would make a lot of sense. I think it wouldn't really cost them a whole lot. I don't know if there's a big market for Ty Simpson. And in the event that it doesn't work out after a year, I think that you're in a position where you could still go and get, I know you love Arch Manning. I don't, but Dante Moore.
Give it time, man.
Lenore Sellers, one of those guys.
And Pat H brings a question up here, and I'm probably wrong on this one. Nick, I bet Derek a drink that Ty Simpson will go in the first round. Derek says no. What do you think?
Without a doubt, I think he's going to go in the first round. I think he's talented enough, and I think it also just makes too much financial sense. With drafting someone in the first round, you get that fifth-year option, and that just changes the way that you structure your team financially. So if you have the conviction to take him, you're going to do it in the first round, because otherwise it just doesn't make financial sense.
Yeah, I'm going to have to owe Pat H a drink, and in his case, a nice Pepsi, because he has a drink. What's up?
I'm a Coca-Cola man myself, but all right.
To each their own. I was sitting there a couple of weeks ago where I thought that I just don't see a team taking Ty Simpson, but now a lot of people are talking about the Arizona Cardinals trading back in, or maybe doing a deal where they trade down from 3, and maybe a team like the Saints or the Cowboys or the Chiefs give them their multiple picks, And then the Cardinals are drafting again at the end of the round, first round, which we will see about that. But let's keep this draft moving, Nick. A little mock draft action. So we got Fernando Mendoza going to Indiana. Who you got going number 2? A lot has been made of what the New York Jets will do. A lot of people are saying David Bailey's the guy because the Jets have taken huge swings on generational pass rushers in the past. People bring up Vernon Golston, and he never amounted to nothing in the NFL. So what do you think we're going to get with the Jets at 2? Is it Arvell Reese, the freak athlete, or is it David Bailey, who's probably going to be a pretty good pass rusher in this league for quite some time?
I'm really conflicted on this one. I think my head says likely Arvell Reese because I think his upside is.
My mind's telling me no.
Yeah, my heart says David Bailey. I think when I watch him right now, I think he is a much better pass rusher. But I think ultimately with Aaron Glenn's scheme, I think that he can play off-ball linebacker on first and second down. You can incorporate him in pass rushing downs, third downs, at edge. Ohio State used him a lot in different rushing scenarios. They'd blitz him from linebacker a lot on third down. So I think that fits Aaron Glenn's more versatile scheme. And I think he just has that like prototypical combination of size and speed where I think David Bailey's a lot more speed oriented. I think Arvell Reese, has that rare combination of strength and speed where he can be potentially a defensive player of the year. The Jets version of Micah Parsons. I think he's probably the best off-ball linebacker. I really like Sonny Styles. I think he's probably a top 5 pick as well, but I think that Arvell Reese is just violent in the way that he flies to the ball. He reminds me as a linebacker a lot of Dre Greenlaw. And then you don't see him rush the passer a lot, but when he does, he looks explosive. So I think that's probably who they should take, but if I was there, I don't know. I'd sit with it for a while because I really do like David Bailey.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Arvell Reese. I think that there's a lot of potential there where he's just more versatile. You could play him at outside linebacker, middle linebacker, or outside defensive end, I should say, or rush defensive tackle. And I think with David Bailey, there's a lot to like about him, and we'll get to him a little bit here. I like his spin move. Kind of reminds me of Dwight Freeney a little bit, but I think both are going to be good in this league. I think there's more upside with Arvell Reese, and I think there's too much smoke going on right now. I don't know why, but maybe they're trying to get this going where teams can move up to 3 because they know that the Jets aren't taking Arvell Reese, and that's just things that GMs are telling some of these media members. I'm not buying it. I do think that Arvell Reese is taken number 2, and that's where we see things get crazy at 3 because people want to get that next pass rusher, and David Bailey's available. Do the Cardinals want to take him at 3, Nick?
Yes, the Cardinals should absolutely take him at 3. I know people are talking about how the Cardinals want a tackle, so maybe they're one of the teams that are willing to trade out of this spot. Then maybe you could see the Saints or the Kansas City Chiefs are often brought up here, trading up into that spot. I think that would be foolish because I think David Bailey is a phenomenal player. I think he is undoubtedly the best pass rusher in this class. He is really reminds me a lot of Abdul Carter in terms of his ability to win as a speed rusher. I think he's explosive off the line of scrimmage, but I think he is also really physical. I think he has really long arms and he often latches on early. He's so fast that when tackles kind of have to overset, he can power through you, even though he's not, I guess, the biggest person, even though I think he weighs more than Arvell Reese. I think he's 251 pounds.
Yeah, he's bigger.
44 pounds. You don't really ever see that be brought up for Arvell Reese because I think he just looks like a bigger person. But I think David Bailey will instantly be a phenomenal pass rusher. It could be, a 10-sack edge rusher as a rookie, defensive rookie of the year immediately. And I think he fits with Arizona with what they're trying to build with Josh Sweat, who's maybe a little bit bigger. And then you have Walter Nolan and him. I think you need to have in the NFL a dominant position group. You need to be fantastic at something in particular. I think that really strengthening that defensive line would be wise, especially with the division that they're in and the quarterbacks and the offenses that they have to go against.
Yeah, it will be good to have a good bookend of Josh Sweat, but I do believe the Arizona Cardinals are thinking about the future, and I do think that they like David Bailey, but not enough where they're going to take him at 3. I think they want to solidify a few positions. So I do have the New Orleans Saints trading up from 8 to
Ooh.
3,
For
taking
Ruben
for
Bain?
for David Bailey at 3.
Oh, for David Bailey? Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I got the New Orleans Saints trading up to 3. They probably trade, obviously, a pick swap in the first round, probably their third round pick, and they give up next year's first, the Saints, but they got a lot of young talent. Yeah, I think that they make that move, and the Saints take David Bailey as a pass rusher. They need more pass rush. They have Chase Young. They have that other guy, what's his name, Carl Granderson, but not enough pass rush on that team. Yeah, I think the Saints in years past they've been aggressive by, trying to load up and move up in drafts. I think the same thing happens here where the Saints move up to number 3.
Do you think he fits what they've historically liked? I feel like they've liked a bigger defensive end.
He's pretty big himself, though, as you said.
Huh?
You said David Bailey's bigger than Arvell Reese, right?
Yeah, but I think the biggest knock on David Bailey, and I think I think he's a slam dunk pick in the top 5. But I think the biggest knock on him would be his ability in the run game. I don't think he's a liability, but do you ever really see him like stack someone and then shed like you see Ruben Bain do? Like, I don't think he could play in like an even front. I think he's totally an outside linebacker almost exclusively. The way he plays the run is like an outside linebacker where he kind of like hangs back and then like sifts through. So I don't know if a lot of teams that like those bigger defensive ends that can really set an edge would be interested in David Bailey.
Do you think the Chiefs would make more sense trading up because they do like bigger defensive ends?
No, I don't. Not for him. I think Ruben Bain to them, I think would make a lot of sense. I think Ruben Bain honestly kind of reminds me of Karlaftis. And I think that fits the kind of what they look for.
Yeah.
I really think that David Bailey reminds me of, people say this a lot, Nick Bonito. I think he looks a lot like Nick Bonito where he's just a freakish pass rusher, but he has his limitations in the run game.
Yeah, that's something he could develop over time with having Brandon Staley as his defensive coordinator with the Saints. But, yeah, I'm with you, Nick, where the biggest indictment on him is probably the lack of a run defense, but it's setting the edge there. But, yeah, I still think the Saints will be aggressive. They go get a pass rusher. And if it's not them, I think another team like the Cowboys would move up or the Chiefs. But maybe the Chiefs just want to keep their draft picks. But, yeah, I do think that the Arizona Cardinals come down. There's too much smoke there right now. So I don't think they're going to settle at number 3, and they're going to move down a little bit. All right, who you got at 4? Because now we got some playmakers available. We got Sonny Styles. We got Jeremiah Love. There's a lot of guys that have been linked to the Tennessee Titans. Who do you have Robert Saleh and company taking at 4?
They're another team that I could see trading out of this spot. I think Ruben Bain or Jeremiah Love are probably the best players. I think Jeremiah Love and then probably Ruben Bain. I don't know if it makes sense for them to draft a running back. I think it would just kind of be a carbon copy of the Ashton Genty situation where I don't know if the team is quite ready for that. And then I don't know if Ruben Bain would really fit Robert Saleh's scheme. He likes those wide 9 pass rushers. I don't know if Ruben Bain is best in that. I think he's kind of best when he's right outside the shoulder of a tackle and can really get hold of you with his, physicality and his strength. So I have them taking what would be, his new Fred Warner, Sonny Styles from Ohio State. I don't know if a linebacker at 4 ever really happens or makes sense, but he's a great player.
Yeah, I am with you on that one, Nick. We are simpatico, where I got the Tennessee Titans taking Sonny Styles. I think that the only guy that could see value as far as the top 10 coaches in this draft, that could see value in taking a linebacker, and this guy's an anomaly. He's a great player. He's a throwback to the old school days of linebackers, and he covers as well as Fred Warner. Yeah, I think that Robert Saleh would see value in that. I think that Dan Quinn would see value in that. I think that John Harbaugh would see value in getting a linebacker. And Robert Saleh is the guy that is drafting before those coaches. And with the two best pass rushers off the board, maybe you make an exception for Ruben Bain. But as you just said, he doesn't fit the scheme with Tennessee. So, yeah, I think that he finds his Fred Warner, and they need linebacker help with Tennessee desperately. Yeah, I think they take Sonny Styles at 4. And then we go to John Harbaugh and the Giants, and this is the first of 2 picks they have in the top 10. We'll talk about the other one later and how they acquired it with Dexter Lawrence. But who do you got the Giants taking at 5, Nick?
I think they would have taken Styles if he was there, but now that he's not, I think it's potentially Saquon Barkley all over again. This guy reminds me a lot of Saquon Barkley. I think he's probably the best running back that's come out of the NFL draft. I know Gibbs is great now. I don't know if people really saw him like that when he was coming out. Jeremiah Love, I think, is probably the best player in this draft. I think he'll instantly be one of the best running backs in football. He reminds me of a combination between Saquon and Gibbs, where he just has that explosive speed of Gibbs, but I think he's a little bit bigger and more physical. Yeah, he can break a touchdown from anywhere on the field. I think he instantly makes your offense way more dynamic, changes the way that teams have to play you.
Yeah, dude, I am with you on that one as well. We have all the same players going. It's just a matter of I have a trade happening with the Saints and the Cardinals at 3. Yeah, I'm with Jeremiah Love going 5th overall to the New York Giants. And to me, he is the best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. And this is at them making good on that. Like, I think people blow that out of proportion with Joe Shane and Saquon. Saquon didn't want to be there. He just didn't want to be there with the Giants anymore. So can you blame him? Yes, you could have franchise tagged him, but he just didn't want to be with the Giants anymore. So he moved on to the Eagles. Jeremiah Love. Yeah, dude, he's equal parts Adrian Peterson and Christian McCaffrey. Do they have more needs here? Yes, but a young quarterback's best friend is a dynamic running back. So, and we know that John Harbaugh likes to run the football. So, yeah, I think they're going to be aggressive here and take Jeremiah Love 5th.
I think with trading Dexter Lawrence, now you have versatility with what you could draft at 10 to fill those other needs. If you want to get a corner, I know they have Paulson Adebo. I don't think he had the best season last year, but they could stand to have another corner. I could see them getting one at 10. Maybe Jordan Tyson's also in play. So I think other teams will be clamoring to trade up potentially for Jeremiah Love. So I think if he's there, I think you kind of have to take him or you'll miss him.
All right, then we got the Browns at 6. This is one of 2 draft picks they have in this first round. Who do the Browns take at 6, Nick?
I have them taking Francis Maui-Noah. I know that you really like Ewing. I think he's good too, but I think Maui-Noah is probably the best tackle in the draft. He's just a freaking huge dude. He's 6'5", 330 pounds.
Is he a tackle, though, Nick?
He is really thick and squat. I think it really helps against, like what I was saying, like a Ruben Bain who would line up right outside of his shoulder. I think the problem is that the farther wide you line up and drag him out of position, I think the worse that he looks. So when he can get a hold of you and latch on you, you don't really get off because he's so powerful. But, if you can get him to move his feet, he doesn't have the best lateral quickness. So he gets people often set him up outside and then go right back over his face. And he's just not quick enough. He doesn't have the foot speed to recover. I do think that could be a problem in the NFL. I think that they'll just throw that at him over and over and over again. But I think he is the best pass rusher. I think in the run game, he just bullies people. I think he fits kind of like those gap power schemes where it's a lot of downhill type of running. I don't know if he's great in space because he is so big and lumbering. But yeah, I think he's the best tackle in this draft. Is he as good as Simmons or Membu were last year? No, but like I said earlier, it's, outside of quarterback and pass rusher, it's the most important position in football. And I think when you're this high in the draft, there's going to be a run on these players and you kind of have to take them. And they
no doubt the Browns need a tackle. They need a lot on the offensive line, but I think they're going to go wide receiver here. I got them taking a Carnell Tate from Ohio State. Ooh. And it's hard to pass up on the hometown kid. They do need more help receiver wise. Jerry Judy's just not getting it done. And I I do think that Cardinal Tate's the best wide receiver in this draft class. I do see Devontae Adams in him. I don't know if he's going to be the same type of player, but just the way he plays. So yeah, there's a lot of depth here in this first round when it comes to tackle, availability or just depth there later on in the draft. So yeah, I have them taking Carnell Tate with the 6th overall pick.
Just to push back on that, I feel like there's a lot more wide receiver depth in this draft. And I feel like historically it's harder to find a starting NFL tackle. So I think that's why you see a run on these types of players early in the draft, because if you don't have a high draft pick, you're not going to be able to get one. I think that there's a lot of receivers towards the latter half of the first round that could be available at 24 for Cleveland. Whereas I think that some of these better tackle prospects who really could be good quality starters in the NFL might not be there.
Yeah, they did go out and get some guys, though, in free agency that can just hold it down. But for the long haul, yes, they do need to get younger at tackle, but they do need to get reinforcements at the wide receiver position. So I hear you, and you're probably not wrong. I think a lot of people have mocked the Browns getting a offensive lineman at 6, but I just see them maybe trading back in earlier to go get an offensive lineman that they like. And there's a lot available. There's a lot of depth here. So I think they'll be okay with having another first-round pick. All right, number 7. Who do you got the Commanders taking, Nick?
Ruben Bain, the defensive end out of Miami.
Ooh, okay. So they made some big moves this offseason by getting
Is it
who's my
Owe?
guy with Afe Owe, and then my guy from the Patriots, Kayshawn.
Was it Clavon Chason? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah. Chason, yeah.
Yeah, Chason, yeah.
So they have pass rush already, but you think they're loading up with Ruben Bain?
Yeah, I think he is probably, after Jeremiah Love, like I said before, one of the best players that were remaining in the draft. I think he is one of those players that you can move him inside and pass rushing down. So, I mean, you could potentially see all of those guys on the field in addition to just rotating them. Yeah, I think he's a freak. I think he's probably the strongest defensive lineman in the draft. He's the most violent defensive lineman or defensive end in the draft. But I think he's pretty explosive to where he can threaten you outside still. He loves that ghost move where he drops his inside shoulder. So I even though he looks so like big and muscular, I actually think he's pretty like flexible, and he has good bend around the edge. And then he's just dominant in the run game. Yeah, he's one of those players that can just set an edge for you. I think he's scheme versatile. The big knock on him is his arm length, but I don't know. I mean, does it really matter that much? I mean, I know he would be a historical outlier, but he does just look so freaky.
He does, but people are knocking him on the wingspan, not long arms. I like him a lot, but I think that you're going to have scouts kind of get in the ears of the GMs. Yes, it could be an anomaly where it doesn't matter about his shorter arms. And there's guys in this draft class that could go in the first round that have shorter arms. Cassius Howell is a guy with T-Rex arms, but gets after the quarterback pretty well.
He does.
There's also the whole thing of what happened with him in the car accident. But then again, teams were aware of that way before we all knew about that. So I don't think that's going to stop him from being a top 10 pick. I just don't see him going here.
He didn't do anything wrong in the car accident. From what I'm aware of, it sounds like he was just involved in a fatal car accident, which is a tragedy, but that it would somehow knock him down when it sounds like there was no wrongdoing on his part, I think is a little ridiculous. And it seems like one of those NFL
in your legal opinion.
In my legal opinion. I actually don't know if I should be saying that, but I think it's one of those things that teams throw out there in the hopes that he will fall. I wouldn't be surprised if he falls, probably outside of the top 10 because of his arm length, but I wouldn't also be surprised if a team like Kansas City or I think New Orleans trades up to get him, because I do think he's freakish.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's the reason, along with Akeem Mesidor, why Miami's defense was so great in the college football playoffs. So he's a good pass rusher. I just don't see the Commanders taking him at 7. I got the Commanders taking Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State.
Ooh,
You don't like that one, huh? Or you do
I
like it,
don't.
or
I
why?
do
Why
not
is
like
that?
that.
You
I
don't like
just
Caleb Downs.
not at 7, but I'll let you make your case.
I just think that they need safety help. They went out and got who's it? Nick Cross from the Colts. But yeah, I think that given Dan Quinn's track record of having great safeties with the Seattle Seahawks back in the day, he wants that same type of defense with the Commanders. So he goes out and gets a playmaker in Caleb Downs. So there you go. Nick just hates the move. Okay, number 8. I have the New Orleans Saints moving up, but who does Nick have the New Orleans Saints taken at number 8? I have the Cardinals in this spot now, but Nick, who do you have the Saints taking at 8?
The hometown kid, Mansour Lane.
Oh, the cornerback. Okay, first corner off the board.
First corner off the board. Not soon to be the last because there's one coming right up behind him. He is awesome. I think he is a really versatile corner who can do it all. They run a lot of zone, and he looks fantastic in zone, but then they'll also ask him to play press man. He looks great in press man. I said he reminds me of Devin Witherspoon, the way that he's really physical in the run game, and they blitz him a ton off the edge. He's a great tackler. And then I thought he was the most fluid in and out of his breaks. And I said it reminded me of Marshawn Lattimore, who I thought coming out of Ohio State was the same type of way where he was just really sticky and fluid. And he seemed like he was always just in like the hip pocket of the receiver. I know his speed apparently was a concern. I didn't notice that. I never saw him get beat over the top. And he ran a 4.35 at LSU's pro day. I know that's at a pro day, but I mean, they can only fake it so much, and how much faster you really want him to be, that's pretty good. He's 6 foot. He's not as big or as long as McCoy, who I think normally would be above him, but I think because of McCoy's injury concerns, was it his ACL that he tore last year?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's why Mansour Lane gets above him. I also think just the fact that I'm assuming that because he plays at LSU, they have some relationship with the New Orleans Saints and have an inside track there that would be beneficial. So that's why I have New Orleans taking.
I hear you on that one. That probably makes a ton of sense, but I had them trading the pick earlier. So I got the Arizona Cardinals taking tackle Spencer Fano.
Oh, really?
Number 8. Yep, I got them taking Spencer Fano. He's a versatile offensive lineman. If you're going to make a comparison, I think Spencer Fano is kind of the upside's kind of like Arvell Reese, where Francis Mauigoa is more like the safe pick, where like that's like David Bailey. I think that they can move him around the offensive line. They definitely need offensive line help. They put him at right tackle. Yeah, I think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to prioritize offense with a offensive-minded coach.
So they have Fatanu at tackle, and then they also have. Did they play Kelvin Banks Jr. at tackle last year, or did they play him a guard?
Is it Kelvin Banks Jr. on the Saints?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that.
Yeah.
Not for them. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Who's their left tackle that was drafted a couple years ago? The Arizona Cardinals.
The guy from Ohio State, right?
Paris Johnson, or I think of somebody else.
I want to say that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think dude, last year I was watching the game with you, the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Green Bay Packers, and it was just easy for Micah Parsons just to get after Jacoby Brissett. So I think that, yes, the Arizona Cardinals, if anything, I think they have some strengths on their defense with Budda Baker, Josh Sweat, some other guys, but they do need to improve it. But the offensive line is brutal. They need also some offensive playmakers and mainly a quarterback, and that probably will be Ty Simpson. So, yeah, I got them prioritizing the offensive line. All right, and then at number 9, Nick, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, look, we got Walter popping in the chat here. What's going on, Walt? Meet Nick Papa.
Hello, Walter.
Walter's another producer at KNBR. All right, Nick, who you got taking 9?
I think that the Kansas City Chiefs just lost their 2 starting corners. I think they're going to want to replace them. I have them taking Jermod McCoy, the cornerback from Tennessee.
Okay. And are you concerned at all with the knee injury with him?
I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what they're looking at. I can only tell you what I saw from the year previous, and he was the best man-to-man corner in the draft. I thought he really looked like Stephon Gilmore, and that he was just really tall and long and strong. I thought
Ready to
his
get the
press.
friction on?
I thought his best press coverage, his jam was probably the second best after the other corner from Tennessee, Colton Hood, who's actually really good.
Yeah.
But I thought Jermon McCoy just has that size and length, looks like a prototypical corner. I think his long speed is fantastic. He looks more explosive than Mansour Lane. Yeah, and he's really physical in the run game as well. So I think it's a perfect fit for what KC likes to do.
All right, let me since I'm pissing everybody off in the chat these days, Walter. Geez, just another producer. I thought I meant more to you, Derek. Walter, my good friend, one of my good buddies, is in the chat. Nick, say hi to him.
I already did, but I'll say it again. Hello, Walter.
Well, I need the proper introduction, I guess.
Hello, Derek. It's good buddy Walter.
Okay, then number 9, I got Ruben Bain going. I got the Chiefs taking Ruben Bain. He probably goes earlier than most people anticipated, but yeah, I think the Chiefs definitely need some defensive line help. So opposite George Karlaftis, they go get Ruben Bain from Miami to help out with that defense that definitely needs more help in the trenches, offensive line and defensive line. Okay, 10. We got the Giants in here because they made a trade on Saturday to send Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals. Just real quick, Nick, do you think that the Bengals should have made this deal to trade away the 10th overall pick for a 29-year-old nose tackle?
Oh, God. I mean, their defense was terrible, and I think all those people are on the verge of losing their jobs. And so I think that if they didn't get the real impactful defensive player, they could all not be there next year. So I think they forced themselves in a position by not drafting well to make this trade. I thought it was a little concerning that they gave up the 10th pick in the draft. I'm surprised they didn't even attempt to trade back and then maybe trade that pick. We don't ever see usually anyone go for a pick that high.
Yeah.
10 overall. But I think it makes sense for Cincinnati. I think it was the right move for the Giants, where I think they can get better despite the loss of Dexter Lawrence, who is a really, really good player, but he is kind of a space eater, run defender, nose tackle. Is that the most valuable position of football? I mean, maybe to the fans, no. Maybe to coaches, yes. But I think it makes sense.
It does in a way. I like Cincinnati being aggressive, but at the same time, you could get younger, cheaper talent here. But a lot of people were saying that the drop-off when it comes to like the Sonny Styles or the Caleb Downs that could be available, Cincinnati, and I hear you, Nick, like you don't have him drafted yet, but it sounds like he's going to go before 10. I think that if the Bengals knew that, they would have kept the pick. So they're like, let's just get a proven player in this league in Dexter Lawrence, and we got to improve the defense because it sucks. And Joe Burrow's complaining about it, so let's go out and get Dexter Lawrence, and we'll sign him to a minimal deal. So in the end, the Giants get another first-round pick. Who do they take at 10, Nick?
Jordan Tyson, wide receiver from Arizona State.
Yep, I'm with you on that one.
He is easily the best wide receiver in this draft. It's not even close. He reminds me so much of Justin Jefferson or someone like a Garrett Wilson. He is the best route runner that's come out of the draft in a really long time. He's really fluid and explosive. He makes shortcuts the best out of any receiver. I think you can move him inside or outside. He has versatility. I think his release off the line of scrimmage when he's playing outside is the best in the draft. It reminds me a lot of Kyle Williams, who I was high on last year, where maybe you weren't as high on him. He didn't end up going in the first round. That was kind of dumb, but Jordan Tyson definitely will. I'd be surprised if he wasn't a top 10 pick.
That's because your guy Sims was high on Kyle Williams.
Yeah, from Washington State last year.
Yeah.
Who was probably the wide receiver 4 on the New England Patriots. Maybe they're not the highest on him, considering they're going to, probably give up a high 2027 draft pick for A.J. Brown. But nevertheless, Jordan Tyson's a phenomenal player. The biggest concern I have with him, and it's kind of the same with all the players, is his long speed. When you think of like a top 10 wide receiver in the draft, I think of players like Jamar Chase, Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., where they're just freaks who have the size and the speed where they can threaten you on every single play for a touchdown outside. And you just have to change the way that you play in order to stop them. I don't think Tyson's the same type of player. I don't think he's a burner. He's more of that player who will catch a lot of balls over the intermediate part of the field, like a Justin Jefferson or like a CD Lamb. Yeah, he's a great player.
I got the Giants doing the same exact thing with Jordan Tyson, and if you read all the tea leaves, it sounds like that's going to be the case because Joe Shane took him out to dinner after his pro day on Friday. So yeah, I think they want to pair up Malik Neighbors with Jordan Tyson and give a lot of playmakers to Jackson Dart. So I got the same thing going on there, Nick.
So do you think he'll be there at 10? Because I do think he is head and shoulders the best wide receiver in the draft. That makes me think that they almost might want to take him at 5. Because I think that realistically Kansas City might take him. I think the Saints, he's pretty similar to Olave, but I could see them taking him as well. I don't know if he'll be there. I have him going at 10, but will he be there?
I think he will be because I think a lot of teams are going to be spooked by the medical, where he's got an ACL tear, an MCL tear, collarbone. He's dealing with a hamstring injury right now, but he was able to do his pro day. Yes, I do think he will be there. Yeah, I think he will be there at 10.
Yeah.
All right, let's go a little faster here, Nick. Who you got the Dolphins taking at 11?
Keem Mesidor. I think he's really similar to Reuben Bain. I think he's probably more explosive. He's not as good of a run defender. He's not as powerful. He gets stuck on blocks more, but I think he is a really good player. I think he kind of fits what the new head coach was, Jeff Haley.
Yep.
DC from the Packers. I think he kind of fits the type of edge rushers that they like. Bigger type of players, Van Ness, Rashawn Gary. Yeah.
I got the Dolphins to go on offensive line because, yes, Jeff Hafley is the new head coach there, but they also got John Eric Sullivan, who comes from the Green Bay Packers, and they've always invested in offensive line. So give me Francis Maui-Noah from Miami. He stays in Miami and is a tackle for the Miami Dolphins. All right. Then we got the Cowboys at 12. Who you got the Cowboys taking, Nick?
Now I have him taking Caleb Downs. I like Caleb Downs. I think he's a little overrated. I was talking about earlier, I don't think the positional values of safeties is as important. I think we saw who's the safety from the Seahawks that just went to the Bears this year, who's a great player.
Kobe Bryant?
Kobe Bryant. We see these types of players move more often. You can get them for cheaper than an offensive lineman, or I know that they have a really good offensive line, but a pass rusher I think is what Dallas really needs. I think Caleb Downs is a really good player. They play a lot of zone at Ohio State. He's really good at jumping routes. He's a really good tackler. I'd never really see him play man-to-man coverage, and I don't think he looks like he's the biggest guy in the world compared to Derwin James fell in the draft. Kyle Hamilton fell in the draft. Those dudes are way bigger, and they can play man coverage in the slot, and I don't know if Caleb Downs can. I'm sure he can. I just don't really see him do it, but I'm watching YouTube clips, not all 22, so who knows?
Yeah. They definitely need some cornerback help, the Cowboys, and they got Christian Parker, who was the secondary coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, coming in as defensive coordinator. I got the Cowboys taking Mansour Delane from LSU at 12. Best corner in the draft. Then we got the Rams at 13. They could go offensive line here. They could go wide receiver. Who do you think the Rams taking?
I have them taking Monroe Freeling, the offensive tackle from Georgia.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a need for them, and I think that, like I said before, you're not going to be in a position usually where you're able to get one of these top-end tackles. I think that you were saying that he was your favorite tackle before. I think you texted me
just pure tackle. I know there's a lot of work that needs to be done with him, and he was a first-year starter, but yes, as far as this guy's going to be a left tackle, yes. I liked him a lot. Yeah,
he's 6'7". He's got 34-inch arms. He's only 315 pounds, which is surprising. He's really big and he's physical. I think that his pass protection needs some work, but he looks like he's good in the run game. Yeah, I think that just fits what they need at this point. And I think that if someone like Jordan Tyson was there, I could see them taking him. But when he's not, I think that's probably the best option for them.
That probably should be the move because the Rams do need offensive line help. I think they got enough from, I forget the guy's name on the top of my head, from right tackle a year ago. I think that knowing Sean McVay and his aggressiveness and wanting to throw the ball down the field, he's going to take a wide receiver here. So I got them taking Mekhi Lemon, the wide receiver from USC, to play in the slot next to Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. And that could be trouble just because Mekhi Lemon's in his hometown and he didn't really grade well when it came to the interviews at the Combine. But I think that Sean McVay sees the potential in him and going through that wide receiver set, going, three receivers. They can also get, very versatile with the tight ends they have as well. So, yeah, just to enhance the passing game, I'm going with Mekhi Lemon from USC.
Yeah, so I don't have Mekhi Lemon going in the first round of the draft. I don't think he is like a first-round type of receiver. I think you cannot play him outside. He's exclusively a slot receiver. I don't think he does anything like particularly elite. He's not the fastest guy. I don't think his yards after the catch are the best. He's physical and he's great at making like contested catches. He doesn't really drop the ball ever.
Right.
But he gets knocked around quite a bit. And I just, I don't see it.
I hear you. He was not one of my favorite wide receivers. I was doing a top 5 with my buddy Alon on here, and I had him 5th. But and I know Greg Cosell's not a fan whatsoever, but I think he's going to go first round.
Yeah,
he
I
doesn't like him.
He benefited from that USC offense, which is so spread out, and they have a ton of receivers on the field. They just had a ton of space over the middle of the field. And then I think that the Rams last year, I think maybe it was because they didn't have a bunch of receivers in their room, but they ran a lot of multiple tight end sets. And I thought they have good tight ends. So I think that when you're out there in a 2 receiver set, will he be on the field?
In time, yes, but just for his rookie year, they need a third wide receiver with Tutu Atwell gone. And they really don't have anybody else. Like, who's a Jordan Whittington? Like, they don't have a lot of depth there at wide receiver. So just to make sure Matthew Stafford gets that last championship in his final reckoning, I do think that they go wide receiver. They get Mekhi Lemon. Ravens at 14, Nick.
I do just want to say really quickly, I brought this up earlier and you shot it down. I think that if the Rams can, I would not be surprised if they trade up for Jeremiah Love. I think it just makes a ton of sense. I think it'd be really dynamic.
They already have 2 running backs, my friend. They have
the Blake Corum and Kyrie Williams was his name.
Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams. I don't care. I would trade Blake Corum. I would do something. I think that would be fantastic. Baltimore.
Jesus. Okay.
Baltimore. I have Carnell Tate, wide receiver from Ohio State, going.
Ooh, they usually don't go wide receiver first round. Explain stuff.
I think they need that type of boundary outside receiver. I think he is probably the second best receiver in the draft. I think he's really good at everything. I just don't know if he does anything elite. I think he has really good body control, and his ability to make contested catches are probably elite. I just don't know if he's a number 1 type of receiver because I just don't think he has the long speed to scare you. And I know that's what he is a vertical threat, and he's big and physical, but I don't know if will work as well in the NFL where everyone's bigger and faster. I think it'll be harder for him to create separation. But I think he fits what Baltimore needs. I think the combination with him and Zay Flowers could be really good, with Zay Flowers working kind of the slot, intermediate areas of the field, and with him being the vertical threat. So Carnell Tate.
Wrong again, Poopy Pants. This is not happening. I think that Carnell Tate goes way before this selection at 14. And Eric DeCosta didn't – what's up?
He probably will.
And Eric DeCosta didn't blow off the Max Crosby trade to take a wide receiver at 14. No, he saw that Tyler Linderbaum was leaving, so he needs to find a replacement, and really not so more a replacement at center, but a replacement on that offensive line. So I got them taking bear with me here. Aliva Vivega Oane from Penn State, the best guard in this draft. I probably butchered that, but he goes by Vivega. So let's just say Vivega Oane from Penn State, the guard.
Okay. I also think he's a good player because I have him coming up next to Tampa.
Well, there you go. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Nice transition.
I think he is. Thank you. I think he's the best pass protecting guard in the draft. He's really big and physical. I think he's good as like a downhill run player. I saw a video of him where he said his favorite thing is to run zone. And I don't know if he just looks so big and kind of clumsy that I don't know if he'd be best in like a zone scheme where he has to move laterally. I think he's probably best just running downhill. I think that kind of fits what Tampa wants to do, but this was just brought up today. They lost Jamel Dean. Who do they have playing corner? I wouldn't be surprised if offensive line is in the biggest need for Tampa and they look for a cornerback in this draft.
All righty. I got them taking Akeem Mesidor because they need pass rush desperately. And the Florida connection there, he's an older player, I think at 25 years old, but that won't stop them. They want a guy that's a little experienced. He's had injuries at West Virginia coming over to Miami, but I like the Bucs addressing their lack of pass rush. Jets, 16. Nick, who?
Spencer Fano. I think that they're going to move him probably inside either to guard or center. Yeah, he's awesome in space. He's probably the best zone running tackle in the draft.
Is your dog drinking out of the toilet right now?
He is. And I'm about to be too. And
you weird son of a bitch. All right, go ahead.
I just don't think that he's big enough. He doesn't look like a tackle. He just looks too little and slender, and like he's like the complete opposite of Maui Noah, who's just like huge and so big. Spencer Fano, I'd be worried about his size playing tackle. I think as an athletic center or guard, I think he would work better, and I think that he would work in the Jets in particular, where they have a lot of offensive linemen that are really good at running zone. I think that could be a strength for them. And their running game, I think, could be really good with those two tackles and Breece Hall.
I think the Jets need not a number two. Well, I guess he could be number two. A number two to Garrett Wilson. And I don't think they want any parts of a quarterback in this draft. I think they want to build this team up and then draft their quarterback of the future. I got the Jets at number 16 taking Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana as their slot guy. I like him a lot. He doesn't have a lot of speed, but he's a tough physical receiver. Gets catches over the middle, yards after catch. I like him going to the Jets.
So I don't have Omar Cooper, just quickly going in the first round. I really, really like Omar Cooper Jr. I just think that he almost played exclusively in the slot. He's not the fastest guy, and people compare him to Debo, but he doesn't look nearly as big or as physical as Debo does.
No, he's not.
So, I mean, I don't know if he's a first-round receiver, but yeah, he's really good. Made a lot of great contested catches in the end zone. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes at that spot.
All right, we got the Lions. They are in desperate need of offensive line help. Who you got the Lions taking, Nicholas?
I have them taking Colton Hood, the cornerback from Tennessee.
Well, fuck me. They're not taking anything offensive line on your idea process. Why?
I could see that. That could be realistic. They just lost Decker. I could see them going for a tackle, but I think Colton Hood's really, really good. I think he's an awesome man-to-man corner. They've liked that in the past. Who do they have right now? They have a DJ Reed. And then it's just the dude from Alabama.
Terry Arnold, yeah.
I don't think that he's very good or good enough to be the other boundary corner opposite DJ Reed. I think Colton Hood fits. He's a great man-to-man corner. He's really physical. He beats people up at the line of scrimmage. He's a really great tackler. I think he's perfect for what they like to do.
Well, they also like to run the football, and last year in their pass protection, it was pretty bad. They lost some guys to either free agency. I think Taylor Decker's still out there, actually, but they lost some guys to retirement as well. I got the Lions. They moved Penei Sewell to left tackle. I got them taking Monroe Freeling, in my opinion, the best left tackle in this draft class, to play right tackle opposite Penei Sewell with the Lions.
So you think they're going to move Penei Sewell over to left tackle?
I think Dan Campbell's already announced that's the intention this year.
Oh, did he really? I didn't know that. Wow, okay.
Now they could change their mind and realize Monroe Freeling played left tackle and Penei Sewell plays right tackle, so just keep where them, don't need to switch around everything. But yeah, I do think they're going to go offensive line here. Yes.
Okay. I can see it.
All right, then we got the Minnesota Vikings at 18.
Yeah, I have the Minnesota Vikings taking Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle from Ohio State. I feel like they love their defensive tackles. I feel like, was it last year that they had a bunch of them? Was it Jonathan Allen? I mean, who was the Hargrave from the 49ers?
The Gravedigger.
Like they both left, I want to say. So I think all they have left is it Redmond? Is that his name? The defensive tackle?
Rapper? I don't even know. I'm more of a Method Man guy myself. Go ahead.
I want to say that they weren't the best at defending the run last year. He's a really good run defender. He's like a nose tackle. He's got a real funky look to him. He's really squat and thick, but I think he's pretty explosive. I think will help him. The Vikings eat up space in the running game.
Well, I got the Minnesota Vikings, and I can't believe this guy is fallen in my mock draft. I'm just realizing now. But they do need some secondary help. I got them taking Gerard McCoy, the corner from Tennessee. And I know a year ago that he was out with a torn ACL, but he had a fantastic 2024 season. It's a risk, and I think that maybe he will fall given the injury a year ago. But yes, I got the Vikings taking Gerard McCoy.
I mean, if he didn't have that injury, is he a top 5 pick?
Definitely top 10, but yes, with the injury, I think he might fall a little bit. And with the Giants now drafting with 2 top 10 picks, the Jordan Tyson move, I think either guy, like Gerard McCoy, Jordan Tyson, both guys could fall based on their injury history, but I think more people are inclined to take Jordan Tyson over a corner. All right, then at 19, don't know off the top of my head, who is it? It is the Panthers. We got the Panthers taking, Nick.
He reminds me of probably my favorite player from last year, who I had correctly mocked.
Josh Simmons?
No, I did really like Josh Simmons. I had him going number 10 overall to the Chicago Bears, and it ended up being true. I have the Carolina Panthers taking Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon, who I think looks like a carbon copy of Colson Loveland. He's a great route runner.
Oh, yeah, you love that dude, yeah.
Oh, my God, I love it. Colson Loveland. And Kenyon Sadiq, I think, is a game changer in that way. He's basically just a really big wide receiver. He's so fast. He runs.
Did I tell you I interviewed Colston Loveland at Media Row?
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he came on. He was promoting toilet paper.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. It's good for you, huh? I bet you were buying.
Well, Papas are always in need of toilet paper. Anyway, go ahead.
Did you tell him that I really liked him from last year?
No, Nick, I didn't bring that up.
Oh, shit. Okay. I got really excited there for a moment. Damn. Yeah.
I thought he and I could be best friends.
I think Kenyon Sadiq really reminds me a lot of Colston Loveland. I don't know how he is really as a blocker, but I think with is it Tremble? Tommy Tremble is the other.
Yeah,
type.
he's just okay.
I think that helps beef up the offensive line. You can run 2 tight end sets with Sadiq and Tremble. I think it's a good safety blanket for Bryce Young, who's smaller, increased protection, easier throws. Yeah.
I think I'm with you 100%. I think they take they take Kenyon Sadiq. I think really? He's the best tight end in this draft class, and they're trying to improve the passing game and trying to figure out what Bryce Young is at this point. They benched him earlier in his career. Now he came into his own a year ago, not ready to give him a contract extension, I'm sure, but they want to give him the best tools around him. So they shored up the offensive line. They got I'm blanking on his name right now. The dude from the Green Bay Packers to play left tackle while one of their left tackles is injured this season. But yeah, they do need help on the defensive line as well, and a safety. But I think they're going to go with an offensive coach, Dave Canales. I think they go with the best tight end on the board in Kenyon Sadiq, a need that they've had for quite some time.
Yeah.
All right, then at 20, we got the Dallas Cowboys. Who do the Cowboys take, Nick?
I originally had them taking Cassius Howell from Texas A&M.
Ooh, that guy. That guy's a risk, but I understand why people like him in the first round.
Yeah, I think he kind of reminds me of David Bailey. They're very similar types of players. I ultimately remembered that they drafted Donovan Ezeraku last year.
Yeah.
From Boston College, who I think is probably a similar player profile. And their new defensive coordinator, I want to say, is from Philly, right?
Dallas, yes. Christian Parker, yep.
Yeah,
he was
okay.
their DB's coach.
I feel like they historically have had bigger defensive ends. It's definitely a need for them as pass rusher. So I have them taking Zion Young, the defensive end from Missouri.
Ooh. I like that a lot, Nick. But not right there.
Oh, okay.
I got the Browns trading up from 24 with the Dallas Cowboys because the Cowboys need more picks later on. I got the Browns drafting at 20, and they get their tackle. It's kind of a project, but they need one. They take Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle from Alabama, at pick 20.
Wow. Interesting. Okay, to play him where?
To play him at tackle. Well, they could probably put him at guard to start, and then they can move him to tackle later on.
Well, they I want to say they have Tyler Smith and Tyler Booker, the offensive lineman from Alabama, at guard.
They also got Titus Howard that they got from the Houston Texans.
Well, isn't Guyton their left tackle? Their right tackle is Steele, and I want to say that they just extended him, didn't they?
Oh, bro, you're talking about the Cowboys? No, I'm talking about the Browns traded up.
Oh, the Browns? Okay.
Yeah. Makes more sense now?
It does make more sense. Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I got you. All right, 21, Steelers.
I have them taking Keelan Rutledge, the guard from Georgia Tech.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to get some offensive line help? I hear you on that one.
Supposedly they need guard. He looks like he's really big and powerful in the run game. I feel like he fits kind of, I guess, what they like to do, which is more downhill type of running, power, stuff like that. So, yeah, I think he fits a need and one of the best guards in the draft.
Where does Keelan Rutledge go again?
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking tackle from Clemson, Blake Miller.
Oh, okay. I haven't looked at Blake Miller at all, so tell me about him.
Blake Miller is a guy that I think he's had more starts than any of the first-round prospects at tackle. I think he's got 54 in his college career.
Oh, wow. More than what?
I think so. People call him kind of a dirty, feisty player. He's just, he's an animal when it comes to offensive line play. He needs to be better in run protection, but pretty good in pass blocking. And Broderick Jones, I don't know if you saw the news today, Nick, but he's dealing with a neck injury from last year. He's going to get some opinions from doctors if he should even play football this season. Honestly, he wasn't great a year ago. Mm-hmm. So I thought that maybe they can move Blake Miller or put Blake Miller at left tackle and move Broderick Jones to left guard, but we'll see if he even plays football this year. So out of necessity, and I'm assuming that Aaron Rodgers is going to be there, so they got to protect him a little bit better. I'm taking Blake Miller at 21. Chargers at 22, Nick.
Emmanuel Pregnon, the guard from Oregon. I could see them going defensive line. They do have Tuli Patolu or whatever, and Mac. Who's their tackle? Is it Dalvin Tomlinson? Is he on the Chargers?
He is, yes.
I still think they could use some help maybe on their defensive line, but I think that the strength of the football team was in the past and should be their offensive line. I think with McDaniel coming in, they're going to want to run the football. I think Pregnon kind of fits that outside zone scheme. So I think it's strengthening what should be the best part of their football team.
I got the Chargers going defensive line, and I don't know how much longer Khalil Mack's going to be playing. I know that Jim Harbaugh loves offensive linemen, but I think he's fine with his tackles. And they moved Trevor Penning to left guard. He could do that for a year. I got them essentially drafting Khalil Mack's replacement, Keldrick Falk from Auburn, who's a versatile player that can also play inside if they need him to at defensive tackle. He's 280. He's batting down passes like J.J. Watt. And he's a good run defender. And that's something they need on that defensive line. They need defensive tackle help. They need edge help. So, yeah, I got them taking Keldrick Falk.
Yeah, I texted you. I love Keldrick Falk. I don't have him going in the first round. I think he's the best run, maybe no Bain or him, run defending defensive end. He's freakishly big. I just think his pass rush didn't look as good as the other guys. I think that's what these guys are most often getting drafted for in the first round. But I said that I could see him being kicked inside, similar to Buckner or Armstead, if he gained a little bit more weight and being like kind of like a one gap shooter defensive tackle.
Yeah. 24, the Cleveland Browns.
We didn't do Philly.
Oh, my bad. I skipped Philly. All right. Eagles. We got the Eagles taking, Nick.
I have them taking Caden Proctor. Like we said before, I think at the beginning of the draft, I could see him being the long-term replacement to Landon Dickerson at left guard. I think he's too big to play tackle, but I think because of his size, I think he could be a really dominant guard, especially in the run game.
Yeah, I think with the pick they get from the New England Patriots, they could probably get a pretty good offensive lineman for the future next year. It's not a need right now. So with that in mind, and I don't know if this guy's going to go the first round, but I did like him watching him. I just think that he needs to become, more of a complete receiver as far as his quickness. I got the Philadelphia Eagles taking Denzel Boston from Washington to be the A.J. Brown replacement to go get deep balls, get contested balls.
I thought about that too. I just thought with the trade for Wicks and bringing in Hollywood Brown, that maybe they wouldn't decide to do that. But yeah, I thought about that as well. I think I had that penciled in and I ultimately changed it.
24. Now the Browns. Who do you got the Browns taking?
I have the Browns taking, we talked about this earlier, how there'd be a wide receiver waiting for them at the end of the draft. It's the one that you just took. I have him taking Denzel Boston, the wide receiver from Washington. I really like Denzel Boston. I think he's just like huge, and he's a really good route runner.
He's huge.
I think he's good in like short areas, but at times he looks fast, and at times he looks like he's just the slowest person on the field.
Yeah.
But despite that, we didn't bring this up for Tyson had almost no yards after the catch, like at all. Carnell Tate had more. Kind of crazy. The biggest, slowest one out of all of them, Denzel Boston, I thought was probably the best at that. They need a wide receiver. I think it fits.
I have the Cleveland Browns trading up. So the Cowboys are drafting here at 24. I got them taking the guy that you had them taking earlier, Zion Young, defensive end in Missouri. I think that he would fit their scheme and a long, raging pass rusher. I got Zion Young there at 24. Okay, then we got the Bears at 25, Nick.
I have them taking Caleb Banks, the defensive tackle from Florida. He's huge. He's really explosive. He's probably not the best in the run game, but they have – who is their defensive tackle who's a really good run defender?
Oh, they picked up Grady Jarrett a year ago.
Yeah, Grady Jarrett. I think that they'd probably want another edge rusher, but I think that he offers pass rush as well from the inside. And I think he's the best player available for them.
What's his injury history? Because I've heard that he could be a first-round pick, but because of the injuries, he might be second round.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of tape on him because I think that I've seen most people say that he's going to be a second-round pick.
Multiple recurring foot injuries. He's also not great at defending against the run, but I think he's really explosive from rushing in the interior. And they move him around, kind of like KC moves around Chris Jones, where they'll line him up at defensive end. They move him all around.
I think that I'm with you. They go defensive tackle, but I got them taking Peter Woods from Clemson.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I got him. I don't know what his pass rush ability is like. I haven't watched a ton on him, but I think with just their need at defensive tackle, and trying to stop the run there, I think that he would probably be the best option for them.
Okay.
Then we got the Bills, the Biggity Bills at 26.
I have them taking Braden Cisse, the cornerback from South Carolina. I think he
Another
would.
corner.
Yeah, I think they just lost Johnson to the Raiders. I think that's been kind of a weak spot on their team for a while. I know they drafted Maxwell Hairston last year. I still think that they need corners. I think they should shift to playing more man. I think he's a man coverage corner. I have heard that he might be a jerk or something, that maybe he's not, I don't know. There's some personality issue that may cause him to fall out of the first round, but
He's a real piece of shit. That's why he's not going in the first round.
that's what I've heard. Yeah.
I don't know.
Never
Yeah. I think the Bills go pass rush here. They went out and spent some money and got who was it, Bradley Chubb?
Yeah, probably should.
Yeah, so
He's at
I
the end of
think
his career.
yeah, and they need to get younger at pass rush. So I think they go with TJ Parker from Clemson, back-to-back Clemson draftees. And yeah, they just need to get more pass rush there opposite Gregory Rousseau and gang. So yeah, give me TJ Parker to the Buffalo Bills. In the moment everybody's been waiting for, at 27, who do the 49ers take, Nick?
Their Trent Williams replacement, Max Ihanachor, the offensive tackle from Arizona State. Yeah, I think he's a project tackle, but I think he fits with the 49ers in that you don't have to play him immediately. You could play him at guard, or you could play him at swing tackle, and maybe in a year he's there to replace Trent Williams.
I like your thinking. I like Maxi Hanachor a lot. I think they're going to go with a guy that could probably be more versatile along the offensive line. I'm going with Caleb Lomu from Utah, who played left tackle opposite of Spencer Fano, but it sounds like they can move him around. He could play left guard that first year and then become the replacement for Trent Williams, or just stay at guard. But yeah, I got the Niners taking Caleb Lomu at 27.
Derek, did you make me cry because I said I wanted to be a running back?
Oh, this is Mac Van. What's going on, Mac Van? Derek, is this the brother you made cry because he said he wanted to be a running back? No, that's my other brother, Andrew. He wanted to be a white running back. He wanted to be Adrian Peterson, and I told him that would never happen, and he cried. Didn't mean to crush his dreams like that, but you got to be realistic, right? All right, Nick. We got the Texans right after the Niners at 28.
I have them taking offensive tackle from Utah, Caleb Lomu. Yeah, I think their offensive line got better last year. They drafted Ariante Ursary. They signed Trent Brown to play right tackle, but he's an older player. I think he's on a one-year deal. I think you can move one of them to right tackle, but I think it fits, and it's a need for their football team that really doesn't have a lot of needs, honestly.
Yeah, they definitely need some offensive line help, though, and I think they're okay at tackle right now. So I got them going with a guard, Chase Basantis from Texas A&M at 28.
I know nothing about him, so if you have a little,
I don't know a whole hell of a lot. But say again.
If you have a little knowledge to drop on me.
Unfortunately, I don't. I've watched a little bit on him. He's one of the better guards in this draft, but yes, I just think that they need offensive line help, and I don't know if they really need to go tackle here because, as you said, they brought in Trent Brown, and they got what's his name, Arsery, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it, Minnesota State from last year?
Yeah, and he played pretty well last year, so I think they're fine at tackle. They just need to get better guard play. So yeah, I got Chase Basantes. I don't really know a ton about him. I watched maybe a 2-minute recap or draft analysis on him, so I can't say I know a ton about him, but it just fits the need. All right, 29 Chiefs. Who is going there?
I have taking a Thieneman, the safety from Oregon.
Oh, Dylan Thieneman, yes.
Yeah. At this point, honestly, I was running out of time. I haven't seen these guys a whole lot, so I don't know a lot about them. I think they just lost Cook, didn't they? He left in free agency. So safety's a need. They have, a lot of needs on the back end in their secondary that's kind of was just depleted. So it fits, and supposedly he's pretty good. Some people were saying that he was going to, potentially be in the 10 to 20 range. It seems a little rich for a white safety.
Yeah.
I mean, say that, but
no, I mean, people like him. They see him as kind of like a Cooper DeJean type, or he could play corner or safety.
Okay.
But I got the Chiefs taking Maxi Honachor, the tackle, because I don't know what they think of Juwan Taylor. Is he like a starter for them at right tackle, or should this guy, be a backup for a year and then take his spot? They do need help on the offensive line on the right side. They got Josh Simmons, your guy, and they moved that one dude, Kingsley, to left guard. Trey Smith isn't. I mean, they definitely have some players on offensive line, but they just need better play on the right side. So yeah, give me Max Ihanachor from ASU. Then we got the Dolphins at 30.
Real quickly, Juwan Taylor is no longer on the Chiefs.
Sorry, not Juwan Taylor. Who am I thinking that used to be with the 49ers? He filled in for Trent Williams for a couple of games.
Moore? Is it Moore?
Jalen Moore.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a starter. I have no idea. Like, he filled in for Trent Williams a couple times. I'm like, so I don't know if the Chiefs see him as a starter.
Yeah.
Dolphins at 30.
I have the Dolphins trading out. I think they have a ton of needs, and I think they're one of the teams at the end of the first round that'd be willing to trade out. And I have the Arizona Cardinals trading up to draft Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there, Nick. I think that makes a ton of sense. And people have Ty Simpson linked to the Arizona Cardinals. So I don't think that's a bad move at all. I do have the Chiefs staying there. I do have the sorry, I'm writing this down. Hang on one second. I do have the Dolphins staying at that pick at 30. I did have Casey Concepcion there initially, and now I'm thinking about
Concepcion. Yeah,
I'm thinking about Dylan. What's his name? Dylan Thieneman. Because that could be a guy that's versatile for them because they do need corner and safety help. But I'll stay with Casey Concepcion. He would basically be the replacement for Tyreek Hill. They need to make explosive playmakers. They have nobody in their receiving core right now. So, yeah, give me Casey Concepcion for Bobby Slowick's offense. And then we got the Patriots at 31.
So, assuming that they're not drafting for the Eagles, they just lost.
That ain't happening.
They just lost Chason. I don't know who else is there. They had Landry, but I think they need edge rushers. So I have them taking Malachi Lawrence, the defensive end from UCF.
I have the same thing.
Oh, wow.
Pass
really?
rush help. Yep. I have Malachi Lawrence going there. Yeah. I think this is where you see a run on pass rushers. So, yeah. Patriots take Malachi Lawrence. They have Harold Landry and Draymond Jones, but they could need more pass rush help. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and last pick of the draft. We're finally there, Nick. Seahawks, the defending champions, take who?
I'd bet $1 million that we both have the same pick because it's what everybody is mocking to the Seahawks. I have them taking the other running back from Notre Dame, Jadarian Price.
You bet $1 million you and I have the same pick?
Oh, no. Do we not?
Wrong, sir. You owe me some money. I have them taking Cassius Howell.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
The pass rusher from Texas A&M. DeMarcus Lawrence is not going to be there forever. They need help on the outside when it comes to edge rushers. Boye Mafe left in free agency, and they got depth there. But the Seahawks, look, I know people are saying Jadarian Price is going to go there. They can easily go get a running back later on, and they picked up Emmanuel Wilson. I think Jadarian Price is going to be there for them, maybe in the second round. So yeah, no, I don't think they need to do that right away in the first round. Yeah, I think they go pass rush and add to that defense.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be there in the
Maybe not, but they could get another running back there.
I mean, I'd say the Giants don't get Jeremiah Love. I mean, could you not see them drafting Jadarian Price with their pick early in the second round? I think that's a realistic possibility with.
The Giants. Yeah, that definitely could be the case. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him more than the others, so I'll talk about him a little bit more. I'm capable of talking about him more a little bit. I think he's fantastic. I think
Jadarian Price.
Yeah, he's awesome. I think he is bigger, but I think he's not as explosive, but he kind of does remind me a little bit of Kenneth Walker. I think he'd be perfect for their run scheme. I think I like him more than I liked Amarian Hampton last year, who I had going in the first round. So I think he's one of those players that you can't pass up on when that's an obvious need for your football team.
I hear you. And God, what a backfield they had a year ago with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. But yes, it is a need. I think it's one they can afford to get later on in the draft, though, because if I know John Schneider, and I do, he loves his pass rushers. He loves his corners. He get corners later in this draft. I think he wants to go get a pass rusher.
All right.
Well, there you go, Nicholas. Anything else? Any thoughts on this amazing 2026 draft? How excited are you?
I would tell everyone just to listen to me, because if you want to go back and play the recording from last year's draft, I did pretty good. I don't want to toot my horn, but Josh Simmons is one of my favorites. Colston Loveland. I really liked Luther Burden. I had him going, 12th overall to the Dallas
He didn't
Cowboys.
go 12th overall, but
I'm saying I wanted the Dallas Cowboys to take him 12th overall.
I did think you nailed it a year ago. I think you were the only person to tell me that Colston Loveland was going to go before Tyler Warren, and you had that one.
Yeah.
So take pride in that.
Yeah. I also didn't like Tyrone McMillan, and he was Offensive Rookie of the Year. So
that is true. That is true.
I'm saying I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, this man's a better lawyer than he is, draft evaluator. But then again, aren't we all? All right, Nick. So what are your plans for Thursday? Just going to go after work to watch the draft?
Yeah, I'll
Max?
probably be watching a little bit from work, which sucks. But
yeah, it's
tuning into KMBR like everyone else should be.
Oh, look at him. Look at him. Checks in the mail. Yes. The KMBR draft show, if the Giants don't get rained out the next couple days here, we'll be on KMBR with myself, Adam Copeland, Marcus Boucher, and we'll be live at Jack's Restaurant and Bar. Otis, you better be there, my man. But yeah, we love all the members of the Filth. Yes, that mac and cheese is fantastic too. But yes, we want everyone to come out there and have a good time. And even if a Giants game is going on, we'll still have some fun. Nicholas, thank you so much for coming on and being my co-host tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And Mac Van, the lawyer brother, bad with communication directions.
Oh, meet me at Dublin Bar. Yeah, that is me.
yes. Yeah. Man, these guys have good memories. Jesus Christ. Thank you, Mac Van. All right, everybody. We will see you guys on Wednesday. I know I teased an upcoming interview with my guy, John Middlecoff. We had to push that back. That's going to go down next week. It's going to be a post-draft interview. So John Middlecoff will join me on the podcast next week. I'll let you guys know when that interview comes down the pike. To everybody in the chat, thanks to Mac Van. Thanks to Otis Bird. Thanks to Walter Cabalsetta. Thanks to Pat H. Thanks to Ernie One and Tacky. And Tribe 69 dudes that always leaves a weird comment. Did you see this earlier, Nick?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I'll put it on the chat here. Derek Papa makes me creamy. It's, anyway, yeah.
Mac and cheese at Jack's on Thursday.
And on that note, Nick, we always say that's just your opinion, man, to end things on the show. So I'll let you do the honors here. Say what we say on the show.
That's just your opinion, man.
Oh, nicely done.
Thank you.